Hello everyone, it's Miss Green here with a technology tip to add audio and visual to your presentations should your teacher offer you that option and you want to test out this type of technology. So what I'm going to do is I am using Zoom, and then part of this presentation will also teach you how to use screencasting. So I'm going to give you a few options. Again, these are not requirements. These are just technology tips to simplify to amplify. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen with you right now. And I'm going to come up into my toolbar, which you don't see, and spotlight the Zoom. I'm going to come over here to the video conferencing, and I want to show you over here, I'm going to go to my account. Okay, now if you have set up your own account and your own profile, that's fantastic. Or if you're using your parents', that's good too. Always ask for parent permission. That's good practice. You're going to notice that in my settings, it offers the option to record. They are open radio buttons here. Okay, these are closed options here. These are open options here. So you want to make sure, again, maybe I went too fast, in your Zoom, you go to your profile. In your profile, you go to settings and you make sure in the second tab of settings that your recording options are allowed. All right. Now I'm going to move on from there, and I'm going to basically go up to host a meeting with the video on. Now, if you are hosting and you have co-presenters, you want to make sure that you're all on the same video call. Okay, I'm presuming that you guys have done that with this presentation. Now, I'm going to make sure that I'm going to go over here to using my Google Slides and showing you how to share and use a few things within Google Slides. Now, remember, it was back in November for many of you where we used Google Slides and PowerPoint for some initial comparisons of the two systems. These, the ones that I'm using for this tutorial, are web-based, all right? So this is Google Slides. I get to Google Slides from my Google Classroom through the app menu up here, or directly within the classroom that the teacher has assigned me the slides. All right, so here's my presentation that I want to screen share. And what I'm going to go up here is go to the presentation mode. All right, so I'm going to click on this button, and I want to show you a few things down here. Does everybody remember that this is your slide presentations options? The first thing that I recommend that all of you do is, because these are online, to please use the closed captioning option. For Google, it is not automatic. For PowerPoint web browser, it will be, and I'll show you that in a second. But notice how the AI is interpreting my words very much like your Siri on a smartphone, an iOS smartphone. And it is typing out what I am speaking to you through the presentation. This option is fantastic, especially for students who are in what we call ambient noise. They have a lot of noise in their background in their house. So if they are having trouble with the audio, they can at least read the visual text as you're speaking or as your co-presenter is speaking. The other thing that I want to remind you, if somebody goes too fast, whoever's in charge of the slides, remember that you could have this menu where you can go to the particular slides individually if you need to go back to them. Okay. You also have the option to time it, where you press play and you have that kind of kiosk view where it automatically scrolls slide to slide to slide. I'm going to use it on the click, so I'm going to click here. Another great tool is to animate the individual text boxes within your Google Slides. If you prefer a more elaborate background, don't forget you have the option of slidescarnival.com, and that's also in your Google Classrooms for technology. It's that website that allows you to use their templates either in Google Slides or PowerPoint. Okay. Remember, these are PowerPoints, so I don't have a lot of text, but down here you're noticing that I'm speaking much more to each of these particular points. So first we're going to start with Google, then we'll get into PowerPoint in a moment. Some basic tools I've already covered. closed captioning. If you choose the pointer within, you'll notice that there's a little trail here because I'm using both Zoom's pointer and Google's pointer. You don't have to do that. And then it always tells you which different slides. We're not going to get into the QA or notes and things of that nature right now. These are just some best practices. All right, so each of these text boxes has been animated, so I speak to those points, or if your co-presenter is speaking on one and then you're on another, it's a nice way to pace the presentation. Now you'll notice here that I've animated each of the letters at the end of this presentation because they're separate text boxes. All right, so I'm going to hit escape here. That's Google. Notice that the closed captioning has ended because the presentation has ended. All right, so let's go into PowerPoint now. Notice that PowerPoint also has these options. The slide transitions are indicated by the stars over here. And if you want to add individual animations, for instance, in this text box presentation acknowledgements, I can go change back to my mouse and say, yeah, I want to animate this particular thing. So I'm going to add an animation and see number 1 is there, meaning that that's the animation that's going to come in. Okay. So I'm going to go back up to my spotlight and show you how PowerPoint for the web, how it interacts with Zoom online. Okay, so I'm just going to go up here to slideshow. And from the beginning, now notice that automatically the AI shows the closed captioning at the bottom. Unlike Google, where you can turn it on or off within the slide presentation, the web version of PowerPoint already has it set up in there for you. Okay, so I'm going to press click, see all the slide transitions. Notice that I have an acknowledgement slide. Some people like to do that. I want to especially thank you guys during this time. There's flexibility. You're using different devices. Those devices, some you're using applications versus web-based products versus iterations on your iPad. Because of the different interfaces with the platforms and the different platforms, there's complexity on multiple levels. So I just appreciate you guys using all of your technology skills and also the ability to take a break when necessary. That's really important. Okay, so all I'm doing is clicking through my presentation now, and notice again, clean slides. If I need a pointer, they also have a pen, a highlighter, and eraser if I want to ink any of the slides during the presentation. If I'm looking for the full view, you can go down here to the full view, or if you want the closed captioning to be on the bottom, that's why I suggest that you guys don't have that opened up, okay? And then we go back if you need to like exit out. Okay, so that's what the menu bar is at the bottom of PowerPoint. Now this is using Zoom to record your Zoom meeting and then send it to your teacher. What's great about using Zoom to do this kind of screen record is 1, you can have co-presenters. 2, it saves it as an MP4. And 3, when you email your MP4 or upload it, it just it can be sent as a OneDrive link. All good things. So in the next 2 presentations that are strung in this full presentation, about 3 tips for screencasting or adding audio visual is Google with Screencastify and PowerPoint with Screencastify. I wish you all very well and wait for the next presentation. Hi everyone, it's Miss Green here with another technology tool for your use during this time of COVID-19 quarantine. So today I'm going to be presenting 2 types of materials. 1, Google Slides, and 2, your PowerPoint presentation in your Office 365. This is the web version of PowerPoint, so it's going to operate differently from your regular desktop version. All right. So what I'm going to do is go back into my presenting view for Google, and I'm going to come down here to my pen so that you guys can see where I'm going with this. So when you want to present, see up here, that's your presentation tool for Google. It will show you not your slides view, which is this. Okay, so these are all the slides within your presentation. Now, many of you from 6th, 7th, and 8th, you guys have already used this tool with me to some extent within the technology class, either as a hyperdoc where you're all working on the same thing together, or as just different presentation tools. Okay. Another thing that you guys want to keep in mind is if you want to change that background, all of those options for layout, themes, and transitions are available to you in that ribbon. And please don't forget the wonderful online tool, which allows you to change items both within Google as well as PowerPoint, and that is Slides Carnival. All right, so how do we do this, Miss Green? What are we doing when we're presenting online? Okay, so I'm using a tool in Google that is called Screencastify. Okay, there are different types of tools that you can use, and I'm just going to go up here, see how it says Screencast Screen Video Recorder. It is an online tool. It's free. It allows you to record up to 5 minutes of a presentation. Okay, so it's a Google Chrome extension. All right, that is available to you guys. So I'm going to go up here into my apps. There's my slides. I'm presuming that you guys have a slide ready to go. So I'm going to go into presentation mode now. And now I'm recording using screencasting, but notice I have my tools ready to use within Google. So what you see that I just did was I went over to the option for closed captioning, and I made sure that it was live. So that way, if there's a student in your class that needs to see your words as you're presenting the audio, click on that option for captions. If you need to point something out to somebody, use the pointing tool here. This is available whether you're away from me, not in the classroom, or if you're presenting Google Live. Okay, so this is just so you guys are aware. These are your presentation tools. And remember, all of your slides are here, as well as just playing it in a kiosk view like this. Okay, so kiosk view automatically sets it up to go at a particular pace. And notice this pace is pretty quick. So maybe I don't want to necessarily use that kiosk view where it goes right into the end. Okay, now you're going to see a couple different animations that I've used for the concluding slide. Again, this is only using that kiosk view. So I'm going to pause that kiosk view. I'm going to go back into the presentation outline, and I want to share with you guys, again, just keep in mind, clean slides, making sure that you have everything ready to go, and just doing it according to your pace and your team's pace. Now, usually with a screencast, it's one person who's going to be doing the presentation. You also have the option of setting up this presentation through Zoom, and all of your voices can be heard when you share the screen. So that's screen sharing, and that's an option too. So you guys have a lot of cool tools out there to have online presentations right now. All right. So I've shown you closed captioning, I've shown you the pointer, and I've shown you all the different slides that you can go back and forth to. You can always do that kind of like scrolling through the kiosk view, as I usually call it. All right. And whenever you're ready to exit, you just click the. All right. So as you guys know, you go up to the top there, and then you just press that button to end your screencasting. Let's take a look at PowerPoint and the differences there. All right, so similar kind of ribbon view here with transitions, and if you wanted to add animations. So let's add, apply to all the wipe one. And if we wanted to add animations, remember animations go to the individual particular text boxes within your PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so let's say you want to screencast this. Let's get into your slideshow view, and you can go from the beginning. All right. Now, one thing I want to share with you, one more thing, is this cool feature within the web version of PowerPoint where you can rehearse with their AI, their online coach. So you can actually practice the presentation. It will give you feedback on how you're doing right there within the program. So it's kind of a cool feature that I actually practice with sometimes, with pacing and helping to know if I'm using or like or any of those interrupters. All right, so let's take a look. Let's go from the beginning. It's very similar to our Google. All right, now notice at the bottom here, you have automatic AI being used to close caption. So it's not like Google Slides where you have the option to kind of turn it on, turn it off, like real simple. It's embedded. Okay, so then I'm just going to scroll through my presentation and make sure that all the slides don't have a lot of text. It's all about my presentation, about particular facts. It's called a PowerPoint for a reason. You give the strongest point at the top of the slide or in the middle of the slides. Okay, so these are my PowerPoints here. And then you speak to each of those particular topics. Now, we've talked about this before in different classes, 6th, 7th, and 8th. We've used these for different styles of presentations, and you've done this also in other classes. So you really don't want to write everything down that you're going to say within the actual slide. You keep that on the side, and that is where your closed captionings are going to come to an advantage. If we go to the end slide, notice you want that kind of like end slide to have the end or something kind of like a final thought or conclusion. So I'm going to end this by pressing escape. All right. And I'm back to that view within my PowerPoint web version. Okay. And then I go back up here. Let me just use my pen. Okay. I'm going to go back up here in this general direction to that screencasting edition from Chrome, and I'm just going to end my screencasting. Okay, so I do that by pressing that button and ending my presentation. So you guys have so many different options to use during this time of COVID. What I like about the screencast option is it also allows you to save it as an MP4 file format, which is something that you may not be familiar with, but it's a real nice file format to upload to YouTube's and different kind of channels and things of that nature. It's also easy to share with your teachers. Okay, so this is using the desktop version. I just want to kind of give you guys an awareness of how to do this where you're adding those audios when you're not sure, or if you don't want to use the option of a Zoom. Okay, so just keep in mind, we're here for you during this time. I'll be doing a couple other versions of tutorials as they come up. Thanks, guys. Stay safe.